it's Jennifer with Watercolor Girlfriend. Today we're going to do an abstract, very colorful painting with these fun dragonflies incorporated. You see all that in there? Lots of stuff. I really wanted to do something fun, something that incorporates a lot of different textures. I also wanted to use a couple of different things, and I've got a stencil, and this one I purchased. So you can see that here. It's just a plastic stencil, and it pops right out for the other side. You can see that a little better over here. So you can use either one. It also comes with some cool edges that can be fun to play around with. But you can also make this yourself. Just get a sketch of a dragonfly, however you want it, and cut it out of paper or cardboard, plastic even, to keep around. Either is fine. So I drew a couple of those on there before I started painting for this video. And I'm also going to use some of the Frisket. I always want to say Frisket. It's kind of an old school word that we used to use. Or masking fluid. Now I apologize, there is a little bit of technical difficulty in this video. So you're not going to see me apply this, but you will see me remove it. And if you've seen my other videos, you've seen me use this for things like clouds, water, or even just to block out areas where I want other colors to pop. Because when you use this, you paint around it or over it, and then you let that dry, and then you remove that, and when you paint on those areas, it's still white. So that color that you use can really pop from not having another color of paint in the background. I hope that makes sense. And you'll see that kind of in the finished piece where I have used the masking fluid, and then I've used pink over it. So we'll talk a little bit as we go along, and I hope it inspires you to get out your paints and do a little experimenting, not only with color, but with different techniques and different supplies that you have around. It might inspire you to buy something new. We use white crayon in here. We're also going to use some oil pastels. You might not see me use the oil pastel. I do not know what happened with the technical, just kind of disappeared. So I hope that doesn't continue. But I hope you enjoy watching. Oh, and I also used acrylic marker. I did get some cool acrylic markers, and I'm going to incorporate that into the dragonflies this time. So that'll be really fun. And enjoy the video. So you can see I've got some of the oil pastels. If you've watched any of the past videos, you'll see me using those a lot. I really love the way it keeps some of the white area, allows you to free form whatever you want to draw, but it also gives you some texture, so it's not quite as blocking as the masking fluid is. Masking fluid will keep like that real tight line and a real white contrast, where the oil pastel will give you some texture, and some of it will bleed through the paint, and you'll see like little wispiness around the edges. Two very different types of blocking material. Both have their use in painting, so I hope you'll try them both. Similar to crayon. Crayon might be a little tighter, kind of in between. So I really was just going for it. I really didn't think too much about what I wanted to incorporate as far as color goes, but I received some new colors, some new liquid watercolors and some inks, and I wanted to try them out, and this gave me all sorts of areas to do that, and it was really bright and was a little chaotic, so that really took you out of my comfort zone anyway. But I did know that I wanted to use green and yellow for the dragonfly, so I tried to minimize the green use just to that. So you're going to see me use a whole lot of different color in the background here. And I think I'm going to let you enjoy watching me paint this for a while. And you know, at any time you can leave any questions you have, any comments. Of course, we like to be nice here. If you have anything, you know, any questions about supplies or colors, papers, that kind of thing. I am using a larger, an 8x8, 140-pound paper here. It's a block, so it needs to be kind of cut off at the end. I have never used paper like this before. I can't believe it. I've always used either like a ring bound or a block, but nothing that was, you know, attached on all sides where you had to cut it off at the end. It gives you some freedom not to have to tape your paper down, although it did still kind of warp up, similar to any of the other 140 pounds I've used. I think I'm going to use it a little more before I say yay or nay on it. It's not wrinkly in the end. It's something I think you would have to try yourself, but 140-pound weight is just lovely. It really gives you a nice substrate to work on, and it is a hot press. My favorite is smooth. A lot of people like the textured or the cold press. That isn't my thing. So this one, you'll see mostly I will always be working in hot press. But you can try both and see what you like. It is a little harder to find when you order it, but sometimes in stores they'll have a good variety as well. And I'm just going around. You can see those dragonflies starting to take shape. And again, I did draw this and do the oil pastel. I also did the masking fluid before I got started painting here. So I apologize you didn't get to see that. There were some technical difficulties, but I did use a Q-tip for the masking fluid. So if you've only used a brush, I recommend giving that a try. You can keep reusing your Q-tip. It, you know, it'll pick up. It might even give you some different looks. You know, give things a try. If you hate it, go back to the brush. But I like that I'm not destroying the brush or having to clean it instantly. And I hang on to the Q-tip quite a while. So I'm very into reusing the supplies. So now I'm going to finally let you enjoy and have a good time. Okay, so now you've seen that I've used some liquid watercolors over regular watercolors, and now that's dried some, and I painted over that masking fluid. So now I want to come in and remove that, and you'll see that kind of come to life a little bit more. So here are the little dots of that, and we're just going to rub those off. And there's some of the white crayon in there. It comes off real simple, real easily. You'll have a lot of little balls there. Sometimes if you want to use the balls to kind of attack the other ones, that can help remove them. But otherwise, it's just kind of slow going through each of them. Make sure you see where they all are. Sometimes they can get real covered and you miss them. I did miss one on this one, and it looked like some of the paint isn't dry. But we'll fix that later. It's fine. Don't worry about it, especially since it's kind of a hodgepodge, I guess, of techniques and styles and colors in this piece. We have options, so there's no need to panic. And just go around. I've also included some of this masking fluid in the other dragonfly wings. I really like how the dots turned out, though. I'm a big circle gal. I don't know what that is, but I find I incorporate circles and circular type designs in a lot of my work. So these are more linear and kind of like part of the wings of a wing, kind of the veins of the wing. And then we can add more color on top of those, and like I said, the color will pop more instead of painting over some of the color that's already there. So just a little bit more here, and on this other side, I want to make sure we get it all off. You know, you can also follow me over on Instagram at Watercolor Girlfriend, and we can chit chat over there. I can see some of these pieces a little closer up. There we go. I think we got almost all of it. We'll just clean this up later. But, you know, it's kind of like those rubber cement balls. So I want to get all that off of there before we start painting. Everything is dry, so it's safe to, except that one spot that we had in the middle. No big deal. All right. Oh, yeah. It's still kind of wet and nothing's coming off, so it's just fine. All right. I'm going to fill that in there and give it a little cover up. Make it look like you meant for that to happen, right? Make it look like it's part of the piece. No big deal. You can add some other colors on top of that if you want. Try other things. So yeah, so we got all this green in here, and now we want to fill in the body of the dragonfly, and we have the top head part and we have the tail. So we're gonna work on that next. And I want to include some purple and yellows in this area, but I want it to stand out a little more. I want to see if I can incorporate some other kinds of textures, something that creates even more interest. And something I haven't tried before is using tape. I want to put tape over these areas, so you're going to see how that kind of comes together. But I think actually, before I do the purple, I want to go through and give it some other color here. So I want to add some yellow first, and then we'll come back to the purple. I just want to fill in some of these areas. It's kind of going to be the background of the dragonfly. And I did pick a yellow, even though there's yellow in the background, but I'm okay with that. I love putting the yellow over the other colors. I just love how that layered look shows through. Okay, so that turned out fine, and I apologize, but I did put down the tape after everything kind of dried there. And now, I've never tried this before. I don't know why, but I wanted to block out some yellow and then come back to that afterwards. So the yellow is dry, then I put on the tape in little strips. It's just, you know, the green tape that you see around the edge. It's that stuff you can get at the hardware store. Not cheap, goes a long way though. You can get it at other big box stores too. So, and it doesn't stick quite as tightly as the blue stuff. Does a good job, but you're gonna see. Maybe I should have put the tape down a little tighter. I didn't want it to tear. Like I said, it was my first experience with this tape in this fashion, and I just wanted to see how it goes. So we'll let it dry there, and then I'm going to take the tape off, and you can see kind of here how it created like the texture of the purple, and it just blocked out, you know, the yellow areas. And you can see this all a little more up close, and how the yellow went over the pink there. Okay. So I'm going to take all this tape off, and it looks like, as you can see, I did not probably put the tape down tight enough. But I don't care. I wanted to see what it would look like if I did it again. So I like the texture it created, but I'm not real fond of how it bled over. So, you know, whatever. We're going to fix that as well. We're just going to move some of this tape around and do some more putzing with colors and stuff. Okay, so now I'm going to add even more purple to certain areas to see if we can make this section a little richer. And let's see if we can zoom out a little more so you can see the piece overall. Let's give it a second here, and I'll zoom out. There we go. Great. But now you could see that in a little more detail. And I just wanted to do it down on that first section. Again, remember, I'm trying some stuff too. And this was okay. You know, I don't think the yellow showed up as much. Like, there was too much bleeding. So I'll try it again somewhere else in another painting and see if I can block that out with the tape better. It is kind of cool. You know, it gives you another sort of thing to work with. But I don't think the results were better than all the cleanup and kind of the disappointment. But it's okay. You know, we're good at fixing it up and do it whenever it takes to get it to look nice as well. So no big deal. We're going to just take the rest of the tape off. We're still going to go slow with that tape just because you just don't know. So I want to fill in some of this and add back in some of the yellow a little more. Give it more of that a rich feel. So it's kind of got some of the purple and the yellow in it. Not a problem. Yeah. We're gonna remove all the rest of this tape. It had some time to dry. And usually I don't use a hairdryer anymore. I just set a fan up and I wander off while it dries and I do something else. I think that a hairdryer doesn't do as good a job. It takes forever and I have to stand there. So I'd rather go off and do something else while it dries. I have no problem fitting both things around each other. So now look, it's still made a mess. I'm going to clean that all up and I don't know, maybe use something different next time. And I decided to use a stiffer brush I think it's actually an oil painting brush. Oh, sorry about that. Doesn't want to come in. But it's a little stiffer, so I can kind of scrub away the mess. And honestly, now that I look at it again, I could probably have just left it. It's not terrible. But I did want to show you how you could clean things up if that was something you wanted to do. You kind of just scrub it up. You know, it's still fresh. It didn't sit there for a day or two or a week or whatever. You're still able to kind of clean that up. And then you can add in whatever colors you want. You could look, I'm just filling it in with the color that's next to it. Not a problem. And it takes, you know, a few minutes. Not a big deal. Okay, so now you can see I'm going back over with a lot of yellow paint. I'd like to, you know, make that pop out again. I put it over the whiter areas that the tape had covered. And not a problem. Nothing wrong with the little blotting to get it the way you want it to look. And yeah, finish up the tail there. Finish cleaning up the sides there. Tape. Not sure it's really worth it. We'll see. We'll have to try it in like maybe a bigger area. Maybe some different kind of tape. We'll see. Okay, so now I want to dive into some of the other colors here. You know, bringing out this pink, making that a little more powerful, and that is the liquid watercolor that I'm using. I've become very fond of that, but they both work differently. They're both lovely. I like both the traditional watercolor in a pan or a tube and the liquid. They're very different and they really complement each other nice. I'm glad I didn't hesitate to try them because I really didn't use them before this year. So if you haven't tried them, you can buy them individually online in an art supply store, or you can buy them as a kit, which I actually got a kit. I found it on Marketplace, on Facebook Marketplace in where I live. I'm like, you know what? I just want to try them before I invest in something more serious. So check Facebook Marketplace for some art supplies and see what's in your community. You can get some really good deals. Okay, I think I'm spending way too much time on this tail. I think it's time to dive into something else. And now the fun. I love these new markers. I also just got these. These I got new. These I had to order. It is a acrylic marker, and it only comes in this one side tip in this style. You can look around for different styles. Super fun, nice way to accent. And I just wanted to, you know, add some cool line work and patterns with this new pen marker kind of thing. You do have to kind of start it so it actually is paint, and you know, you shake it up and then you press on the tip to get it started when you first get the markers or the brush paint thingies. I should have shown you what kind they are. You know, I just kind of looked at what I could get a good value for online because, again, I wanted to try them. And I didn't want to spend too much, and I didn't like them, and I wasn't out too much. somebody sell them on Marketplace. But there we go. We're gonna finish this, and I kind of just skipped along there for you. So we kind of went around, and we're kind of gonna finish up there, and then we're gonna head up and do the other one with the same color. They draw very nicely. I'm real pleased. I'll definitely incorporate them again. We're gonna use the same color acrylic paint marker, and we're gonna go dabble at the other dragonfly. And you can see how it really starts to pull that dragonfly out of the background, pushing the background to the back and bringing that dragonfly together so you can see the formation start to appear. Fun. I'm just going to add some texture in there as well, and I'm going to go around so you can see how that turns out. So you didn't quite see how I finished, and I apologize for that technical difficulty. I did another video about including, see some of that orange splatter there in the bottom and around, and I used the stencils to kind of block the dragonfly so that the paint wouldn't splatter onto the dragonflies themselves. A little bit maybe on the wings, just a little, but nothing like overpowering. And then I added this really cool pink. Such a bummer that it didn't pick that part up, because I used some of the liquid pink magenta color there, and I used a Q-tip so you can go into those little white areas that I took the masking fluid out. And you can see how that pops. And I think it really brings the whole piece together, starts to repeat the colors from the background, but not too intensely, but nicely accents it. And I have a little short clip here closer up so you can see what's going on. I'm pretty happy with the piece. It went a little different than I expected. You know, I just tried everything I could throw at it. I just wanted to try, see how things turned out. I'm really pleased, and you can even take this and look at it the next time you try a piece and say, hey, I like this. I'm going to incorporate that in my piece. I don't like that. I'll probably never do that again. And you can pull out a totally new piece from stuff you did before. Thanks for watching.